The Central Park Five, who now refer to themselves as the Exonerated Five, are back in the spotlight after Ava DuVernay's series release. Do you think Donald Trump should apologize to these men?
He should. He should apologize to the Central Park Five. He should apologize to President Barack Obama for challenging the country of his birth, stoking racism in this country. He should apologize to the immigrants that he's called rapists and criminals, though they commit crimes at a far lower rate than those here in this country. He should apologize to the United States for describing Klansmen and neo-Nazis and white supremacists and terrorists as very fine people. This is the most divisive, the most xenophobic, the most racist, the most nativist, the most Islamic-phobic president we have ever had. And it's not just that he offends our sensibilities, it's that his conduct and his actions lead to practices and policies that will forever change this country. You don't get a rise in hate crimes each one of the last 3 years without a president who invites this as well as condones it. You don't get kids in cages until you dehumanize them by describing them as animals or an infestation. You don't see this rise in attacks on Muslim Americans until you have promised to ban all Muslim travel to the United States of America. So we've got to stand up against him specifically and call this out, but we also have to stand for what we believe. We don't just respect, we don't just tolerate our differences, we embrace them as the very source of our strength and success.
The case of the Exonerated Five also shed light on issues at every level of the criminal justice system, many of which have not been improved. And we know that black people are overly represented in the criminal justice system. What's your plan to fix it?
Let's end a war on drugs that has become a war on people. Let's end the prohibition on marijuana, expunge the arrest records for those caught in possession of a substance that is legal in more than half the states of the union. Let's acknowledge that Americans of all races and ethnicities use marijuana, use illegal drugs at the same rate, but only some are stopped and frisked and arrested. Only some upon release will have to check a box on every employment application form, will no longer qualify for student loans to be able to advance their prospects and those of this country. And let's recognize that our criminal justice system is part of a foundational racism that began at the very inception of this country. Kidnapping people from West Africa, transporting them here in bondage, building the wealth of America through the work of slaves whose descendants have in no meaningful way been able to share in the fruits of their labors. It's not just criminal justice, as important as that is. It's healthcare, where you see gross disparity in access and outcomes. It's in education. It's in access to this economy, where you see 10 times the wealth in white America than you do in black America. So yes, let's institute these criminal justice reforms to include the end of any for-profit prisons, the end of the cash bail system, an increase in funds to public defenders, but let's go well beyond that.